Hello and welcome back to the top 85 games for the BBC Micro Video Countdown. In at number 53 is a game called Pengo, otherwise known as Penguin. This was released by Hsoft in 1983, developed by S.J. Cowam, and it's pretty much a clone of the Sega arcade cabinet game called Pengo, which originally came out in 1982 and was developed in Japan by Corland. As was quite common back in the 80s, when a game was effectively a copy of an existing arcade game, it would sometimes be released under a different name, albeit that under the covers it pretty much played and performed in exactly the same way as the arcade game of which it was effectively a copy. Now, Pengo was a very popular game in the 80s and spawned a number of different clones and imitations. Another famous one that some of you may be familiar with is Percy Penguin, which interestingly was a game released for the Commodore 64 in imitation of Pengo, which was then ported across to the BBC Micro as Percy Penguin. So you can actually play both Pengo or Penguin and Percy Penguin for the BBC Micro if you choose one or the other. Personally, I find that Pengo is a much more faithful adaptation of the arcade game, and I think it plays a bit better than Percy Penguin. So I haven't brought Percy Penguin into the rankings because gameplay-wise they're pretty much the same, albeit that the graphics are a little bit different. And I suppose Percy Penguin can claim to be a slightly different game, whereas if you were to put Pengo on the Sega up against Pengo on the BBC Micro, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference. Anyway, that's enough introduction. Let's get into the game. Okay, there we are, Pengo, the instructions. So basically this is a game that revolves around playing the part of the aforementioned Pengo, who is a penguin caught in a grid of ice cubes being pursued by snow bees, which are sort of strange blob-like creatures, which we'll see very shortly. And basically what he has to do is defeat the snow bees. Here we are, Pengo, Hsoft, 1983. Nice bit of vector art there. So yes, Pengo is our character. The snowbees are the enemy. The snowbees hatch from eggs, as we shall see, and basically there's a grid of ice cubes, including 3 bonus cubes, which if you manage to line up, will give you, I think it's either an extra life or maybe just extra points that contribute towards it. And I quite like the fact that copyright Hsoft actually spells out my initials. Okay, here we go. Act 1. Oh, nice bit of music there. I think that's Popcorn, isn't it? I think that's the bit of music being used there. Bit of a classic from, I think, the 60s. Okay, so you can see I've lined up 2 of those bonus cubes there. So if I can get the other one... oh, right. Now I can squish them with ice cubes, but the problem is they can break ice cubes. Now one of the sort of tricks you can try... Okay, that didn't work very well. Yes, if you get to the edge of the screen and activate the screen, it will basically stun the snow bees, which can be quite useful. Ah, here we go. This is a good one. Right, let's see if we can get... Oh, it is extra points. Okay. Yes, didn't quite give me an extra life, but it certainly helps contribute towards getting one. Oh, right. Let's see if I can... Hang on. No. Alright, now if I can just get here, yeah, there we go. Now what that stunning effect does is it just allows you a bit of extra time, there we go, to nab them out of the way. Oh, is he going to go straight in? Ah, actually I haven't got a cube ready and lined up to get him. Let's see if we can, there we go. Alright, now, no don't, oh, he's bashed the cube. Let's see if I can get him. There we go. That's Act 1 clear. So yeah, it's a really fast-paced game and it's really, really good fun. I really, really like it, and I can remember playing this a lot as a child. It was really, really addictive. Oh, hang on. Oh, it has a certain degree of randomness as well. So the layout of the ice cubes is sort of, you don't get the same starting level every time, and obviously the number of snow bees increases as well, which is another sort of extra threat. Now I think on this level. Yes, you can see the number of eggs at the top indicates how many snow bees we have. Oh, oh no! A bit too many of them to play the old stun trick there. Oh dear, that was the end of that. Okay, let's try that again. CH soft, very nice. Alright, let's give that another go. Alright, this level's usually fairly straightforward, so it shouldn't give us too much trouble. Oh no, hang on, I spoke too soon there. Yes, that's the other. Ooh, oh dear. Yes, definitely spoke too soon. So that's the other nice thing about the bonus cubes is that they can't be broken. So oh dear, just ran into him there. That was a terrible outing. Only got one life left. Right. Okay. Let's. No. 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 Oh no. This is not going well at all. It's because I said it was an easy level, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Snowby's well and truly defeated me that time. Right, I think I have to give that another go. Right, let's see. Well, these bonus cubes are a bit more favourably placed this time. Might be able to get those lined up a bit more easily. Oh my goodness! A little kiss of death from the Snowbee there. Alright. Yeah, so as I was saying in the introduction, Pengo is really gosh, this is quite a hard game to do commentary and play well at the same time because it's quite fast. Yes, it's a lot more responsive than Percy Penguin, which is a very similar game, very similar idea. But it's interesting that Percy Penguin actually came out for the BBC because it was actually originally designed for the Commodore 64 as an equivalent of Pengo. If you've ever played the arcade game, you'll know that this the sort of port to the BBC Micro is a lot more faithful to the original than Percy Penguin. I suppose Percy Penguin has the claim to being, oh dear, oh, that was my last life as well. Yes, I was going to say Percy Penguin has the claim to being a slightly more original game, albeit that more from the point of view of the graphics being a bit more original, whereas these are very much a copy, I think, of the arcade graphics. But I like that. Why change a winning formula, as they say? I think it works, and yeah, it's really good. And it's got great speed, as I say. Oh no, I've done the same thing again. For a BBC Micro game, yeah, it performs really well. It's got some background music, once again, as with System Wagbury in the last review. It's nice to have a bit of a tune in the background, and it's not the sort of tune that I find gets irritating. I think it's good. I think it helps that it's based on a fairly good piece of original music in the first place. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! And yeah, it's got a nice sort of cute theme to it as well. I mean, who doesn't love penguins after all? Oh, just missed him. I feel like that first attempt is my best go in this entire review. I promise I have actually managed to get further than that in the past. I'm not really having much to show for it here, but come on, let's get them stunned. Get a nice bunch of them all stunned together. Oh no, he's going to come and get me, isn't he? Gosh, I'm going to run out of ice cubes at this rate. Okay, let's see. Let's try and get myself in here. Maybe that will give me a bit of a better... go on. That's it. Excellent. You notice the music gets faster as well as the sense of peril increases. There we go. Actually, I might be able to get those bonuses together as well. Let's see if we can work on that while that Snowbee is occupied. Ooh! Gosh, he's giving me a right run for my money. Okay, let's see if we can stun him. Let's get him out of my hair while I finish off that. Oh no! So close yet so far. Well. Yes, well I hope if you're watching this review you're not thinking that this is not a game that you're going to go out and look for because of it being too difficult. It really isn't as difficult as I appear to be making it out. It's usually, in my experience, you do manage to get past the first level rather more commonly than I'm managing to demonstrate, but never mind. Yes, it is definitely one to look out for if you've never played it before. I have to say I never personally played the arcade equivalent, so that one was not one that I ever had a chance to play myself. There we go, nice. I'm not going to be able to get those together, but hey, at least we got onto level 2. That's the main thing. Okay, let's come on. There we go. Oh my goodness. Oh, I've still managed to retain a couple of lives from the last level, so we might be able to do a bit more. So we've only got 3 Snowbees left, so that's effectively the equivalent of level 1, isn't it? Come on, that's it. Now if I can just get him There we go. I haven't managed to do it yet because I haven't started in a position that's made it easy, but if the old snow bees haven't quite hatched from their eggs at the beginning and you slide an ice cube over them, oh dear. Yes, they still hatch, but they sort of have to break out of the ice cube in order to do it, so it gives you a just ever so slightly delayed from a snow bee attack. Right, let's see if we can get this blighter. Ooh. Okay, let's line one of those. Whoop. Come on. No, no, don't do that. Okay. Can I get him? Yes! There we go. Act 2 clear. Oh, well, at least that's giving the review a bit more of an outing for... wow, that's a lot of snow bees. Now you'll notice that they don't all show up at once. When you've got that many snow bees, there's not enough capacity for the game, I think, to be honest, to have them all roaming around. So, oh no. So what happens is after you've killed one of the snow bees on screen, a little egg shows up, and oh no, that was it for Act 3. Yes, you see the egg appeared there up here in the top left. That was to indicate the fact that I'd cleared one snow bee, but there were more to go. Oh. Oh no. Right, let's do that and wipe him out. Excellent. That's got him. Alright. Okay, seems to be getting back into my stride a bit here. There we go, that's Act 1 over. I think the key might be just to wipe out the snow bees, to be honest, and you know, if the bonus cubes work out, they work out, but I think my... Oh, there you go, an instant egg over there. I think my attempts to... Oh dear. Yes, my attempts to sort of fiddle around with bonus cubes have been distracting me somewhat from actually getting rid of the snow bees, which after all is how you... Oh! It's how you exit the level. Not sure how much longer I'll get. Let's see what happens. I've got one more life, haven't I? Of course, at this point, it would be quite helpful to match up the bonus cubes just to give me a few more points and be in with a chance with an extra life. Oh, there we go. Bit of a delay there. Alright, let's see if we can... Well, that snow bee's occupied over there. Let's see whether I can get to that other bonus cube. Oh! Well, not to worry. At least that cleared us into Act 3 again. Here we go. Okay. Let's clear a space. Come on, let's get those two down. Go on, that's it. There we go. Ooh. Oh, look, see? Like, I've got the ice cube in there, and now he'll hatch out of the ice cube in a minute. I think it definitely delays the egg from hatching, though. Ooh. Ooh, almost got him there. There we go. Oh, no, he's out. Okay, let's see. What can I do here? Maybe if I hide behind this one? No, he's coming up around the other side. Ooh. Oh no! Oh, only one snow bee left and he got me. Dear, my tactics weren't working there. All right, well, I think we'll probably give it maybe one more try and then probably draw the review to a close. But what can I say? I mean, I think you know, as games for the BBC go, you know, sort of grid-based arcade action type games, this is definitely up there with some of the best. It's really, really good fun. It's very, very playable. You know, once you actually start playing it, it's a little bit Pringle-like. You don't really want to stop. You just want to keep going. Yeah, it's in addition to being addictive, I think it's got great graphics. I think it's really, you know, it's a really cute-looking game. Slightly weird as well. Let's be honest. I mean, the penguin kind of makes sense, but I'm still not entirely sure what the Snowbies are supposed to be. I mean, if you look at some of the box art for various Pengo clones, they seem to depict them as invariably as either chicks or polar bears, but yeah, I mean, they don't really look like either of those. I mean, they look more like the ghosts from Pac-Man, really. Oh dear. But they don't obviously behave in quite the same way. Perhaps that's their sort of inspiration, is they're sort of drawn from the idea of the Pac-Man ghosts. They are, after all, arcade-based games. So, alright, let's a slightly strange Snowbee double going on over there. Right, that didn't quite work out. Oh, hang on. Oh, walked straight into him. Yeah, sound effects wise, I think it has good effects. Yeah, it doesn't obviously have an effect for everything, so you don't have a constant sort of walk sound or the sound of the ice cubes breaking. But overall, it's really well put together, and it's a really great game. Plays really well. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and yeah, do look out for Pengo on the complete BBC Micro Games archive if you've not played it before. And do leave me a comment if you remember it from the arcades as well. But until the next time, goodbye.